Hello again, my little bamboo spear fighters, and welcome to another Mordian Glory video. In today's episode, I want to share with you my tournament IJA army list for an upcoming event at Warlord Games. This is just meant as a fun, themed list, really leaning into that idea of the big Japanese BANZAI wave. And so, without further ado, let's not mess about, let's fix bayonets, and charge right into today's episode. Good news, everyone! Bolt Action 3rd edition is just around the corner. And the best way that you can prepare for this new and exciting edition of one of my favourite games of all time is by getting yourself some new Bolt Action miniatures. But where can you get these models? Well, don't worry, I've got you covered. There's an affiliate link down in the description below that'll take you straight to the Warlord Games website, and you can get your World War II miniature fix right from the source. By using the affiliate link down in the description below, not only will you be getting some awesome models, but you will also be supporting the channel. A massive thank you to Warlord Games for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back into the action. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty of the units, I thought I'd give you guys a bit of context and explain what is going on with this event. What's the format? So it's going to be a fairly small affair, and as a result, you do have to make some pretty difficult choices when building your army list. If you try and cram in all of your vehicles, infantry, artillery, support teams, then you'll probably end up finding that you don't have enough of anything. So as a result of those restrictions, I decided to do something that I've been thinking about doing for a little while with Bolt Action 3rd edition and go for a pure infantry army. No vehicles in this list. Not only do I think this will allow me to focus my efforts and concentrate on whole-assing a few things rather than half-assing everything, but I also think it allows me to build a pretty fun, themed, kind of narrative fluffy list, because we all know that the sort of post-war narrative around the Japanese is they ran around just banzai charging everything, which is what I want to be doing, and also that their tanks were kind of crappy. So we've left the tanks at home. I guess we can all presume they've been knocked out earlier in the war. And let me tell you, as someone who normally plays Germans and uses my tanks for my anti-tank, I have to say I am a little bit nervous not using any armour. But I have tried to include plenty of anti-tank in this army list, so hopefully if we do encounter some vehicles, we should be alright. But that's enough context, that's enough pre-list, preamble, if you will. I know why you guys are really here. You want to know exactly what is in this army. So let's dive into the units. Let's start off with the Infantry Corps. Every day in the Corps is like a day on the farm. Every meal a banquet, every paycheck a fortune, every formation a parade. I love the Corps. We have got our mandatory rifle platoon, and we have tried to cram in as many bodies in here as possible without making them all inexperienced cannon fodder. Leading the platoon, of course, is our platoon commander. He is going to have a sword and a pistol, because that's what he's modelled with, and he is going to be regular veterancy. To be honest, I wish I could take him inexperienced, but for some reason, Japanese officers must be taken as regular or veteran. We've then got 1, 2, 3 big squads of regular infantry, all equipped with rifles. I like the flexibility of these squads because they've got enough rifle firepower to actually have some decent range capabilities, but they've also got enough bodies that if they do get stuck into melee, even if they're facing better equipped foes, with their fanatic rules that you get army-wide with the Japanese, they should be able to grind it out, absorb the casualties, and eventually win those combats. You'll see here I've got a 14-man squad, a 14-man squad, and a 13-man squad. Now, I did think about having 2 15-man squads and then an 11-man, but I was concerned that the 11-man wouldn't have enough weight behind it. And the only real benefit of having the squads at full strength is you do get to reroll your order test, but I'm not too worried about that. I'm regular, I've got plenty of officers nearby, I'm going to be on at least a 10, at least 11 most of the time anyway, so I don't need to worry about that too much. And I'd rather have all of my squads with a comfortable amount of soldiers in them than to have one of my squads feeling a little bit anemic. That covers the bulk of the regular infantry, but we do have a couple of classic Japanese units here. Now, for YouTube monetization purposes, I'm going to have to call these guys the unalive anti-tank teams. They're not great anti-tank. I mean, at the end of the day, they run in, and if you're lucky, you and your opponent both lose a dice out of the bag, but they're definitely a psychological tool, and they can be really annoying for your opponent to deal with. Now, both of my unalive anti-tank guys are actually going to be inexperienced. Look, I'm not paying for veteran guys because it's silly. They wouldn't have had the experience to do this more than once. And at that point, I feel like I might as well save a few points and go for inexperience, because if I'm going to be losing a dice, I might as well be doing it for the best possible trade. So a couple of inexperienced guys here. I'm looking forward to them running in and going BANZAI and hopefully taking out an enemy vehicle. But of course, it would be foolish of me to rely solely on these for my anti-tank. They are more of a supplementary option. So we have gone for an artillery platoon. And in here, we have got a medium anti-tank gun with regular veterancy. Good old medium AT. It's never let me down. Some people think that it's not enough. Some people think that you need to go bigger. But for me, just having a good old medium has always been enough. And I've actually used this to take out like tiger tanks and stuff in the past. It's fine. It's not great. It's not terrible. It's just enough anti-tank. And considering we're playing at 750 points, I have a strong suspicion that I'm probably going to be facing more light armor than heavy armor. Some mad lad might turn up to a 700 point tournament with a king tiger or something. But I'm suspecting there's going to be a lot of like armor 8 around. And well, a medium AT is more than enough to pen up armor 8. We've also got a light howitzer here. This is just a cheeky bit of HE. I'll probably be firing it direct most time, but I do have a spotter elsewhere on the list which will allow me to do a bit of indirect fire. And the great thing is that it does have that pen value, so it also counts as sort of supplementary light anti-tank kind of stuff, because it can put pins on enemy vehicles unless they're veteran and it can't hurt them. But like I said, I'm expecting a lot of light armor, and with its pen +2, there is a real chance that it would even be able to knock out some soft-skinned or some armor 7 vehicles as well. So again, this is the main anti-tank, but with this and these guys backing it up, I feel like I have got enough AT in the list. And like I said, it's going to be important for HE trying to dig those enemies out of cover. Speaking of HE, we have got a medium mortar in our 3rd platoon, which is a heavy weapon platoon. Medium mortar, regular veterancy with a 10-point spotter upgrade. You can't go wrong with that. And then fleshing out the platoon, we have got a medium machine gun. Now, to be honest, I probably would prefer an extra mortar here, but I don't have an extra mortar. My Japanese army is still sort of evolving from 2nd edition to 3rd edition, and this kind of gives me an excuse to use one of my favorite weapons of all time, which is the woodpecker machine gun. I love the history behind this thing, how it had like a really sort of low rate of fire, so the Americans thought it sounded like a woodpecker, how it was fed by stripper clips, and how you could just keep firing it and firing it and firing it because of its low rate of fire. It never overheats and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't a good machine gun. It turns out that just having a really high fire rate is actually probably better, but I just love this thing. And this weapon right here, it sounds crazy, but this gun right here, when I was reading into my Japanese, when I was first starting to get into bolt action, deciding which army to pick, it was the stories about the woodpecker which made me choose Japanese as my first army. And naturally, of course, we do have a regular lieutenant leading this platoon. So in total, we are looking at 12 order dice. We've not quite reached that big 13, but I think 12 is pretty decent, to be honest. And I could easily have made it to 13 by taking, 4 men from this squad, 4 men from this squad, and like 3 men from this squad, and had like an 11-man squad or something like that, and had sort of 4 10-man squads. But I just don't feel like 10-man units, especially with the Japanese, if you're looking to get stuck in and stuff, I just don't think they've got enough weight behind them. I would rather lose 1 dice and have 3 squads that are feeling very, very chunky, that can absorb a few casualties, than to have 4 squads, which will probably end up getting taken out a little bit easier. General battle plan with this thing is to have the weapon teams dug into some cover and providing fire support, dug in on objectives, probably infiltrate these guys up the board a little bit, and then essentially have my infantry wave as my offensive force. I also like to break my armies down into the defenders and the attackers. These guys are my more defensive fire support. These guys are my more offensive attacking units. But that just about covers the army list. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. How would you tweak this particular army list? And I'm curious to know what you would take at 750 points, whether it's for the Japanese or another faction. And as always, guys, don't forget to go ahead and smash that like button and also subscribe to never miss an episode. Would you like to know more? If so, then please consider becoming a channel member or patron. By supporting the channel, not only will you be doing your part, but you'll also be helping me create more content for your viewing pleasure and unlocking a whole host of perks. You get everything from a badge next to your name, custom emojis, but the big one is access to the Mordian Glory Discord server, an online community with almost 2,500 active members. It's always popping off in the MG Discord. We've got channels for army lists, hobbying, tactics, stories, and even a pretty spicy meme section as well. For all you greenhorns that wanted to see the Mordian glory hole, today is your lucky day. And joking aside, I do want to say a massive thank you to all of the current channel members and patrons. You guys are amazing. Truly the lifeblood of the channel. I could not do Mordian Glory full time without the incredible and generous support of my members. So thank you guys so much. And last but certainly not least, I want to say a personal thank you to all of my top tier Patreons. These are the War Masters, the people who have truly gone above and beyond the call of duty. So a heartfelt thank you to Alex Dengal, Bonbon Vert, Lord Pryor, Mark Panconi, RJ Scorpion, Swordfish Trombone, Try Again Bragg, John Stubbs, Nick Walsh, Diesel Fox, and August Barney. Seriously, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart. Your support is incredible and it makes a huge difference. Thank you so much. That's all for now. Hope you've all enjoyed today's video. And of course, as always, I'll see you guys next time.